Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Nuggets. It is a Thursday and I'm so excited to be here. I'm Robin Weisner. I am a life coach and the creator of the Lighter Way Wellness Program, and I'm super stoked to be here. How do you like my new fall decor? Special props to my mom who said, you have to have fall colors. You've got summer flowers. So there we go. If you're joining me live, I'd love to know where you're joining from. Are you grabbing lunch right now? What's for lunch? Today we are wrapping up the 3 steps to ditch dieting. This is one of the foundations of the Lighter Way program. I am all about helping women ditch dieting mindset. We have got to set ourselves free from these food rules that cause us tons of stress and just mental oppression, and we are not allowing ourselves to just be free and fully present with food and making peace with our bodies. So I'm going to wrap that up today, and then I still have more to share with you the rest of this week, especially talking about when you don't have support around the home and things like that. So as you're joining me, I hope that you'll take some notes. I hope this is helpful to you. And at the end, if you would like to get more information or sign up for my mini course where I go into more details on this, I will provide the link for you as well. All right. So just to kind of review what we talked about this week, can you tell me what the first step was for 5 points? The first step was to chart your path. So I use the analogy of climbing a mountain. Before you start climbing this mountain, you need to know all the things about where you're starting from and what you're going to need in order to get there. So it's taking an inventory, or what I call a lifestyle assessment. That's part of the Lighter Way program. A lifestyle assessment. Where am I really at right now? What are the challenges that I'm dealing with? What is the cost of staying the same? What is the cost of change? What am I going to have to work on and add to my life and maybe remove from my life, right? So we chart our path. Then the second part is to craft your vision. So now that you know like the reality of where you are right now and the need for change, now you're going to look at future vision. And remember, I said yesterday, this is not just making a wish, I wish I could have this or whatever. It's really taking yourself, transporting yourself into that future time, whatever that is, a year, 5 years, 10 years, and seeing yourself in that lifestyle that you desire. And asking your future self, I know it sounds weird, but like, what decisions did you make to get there? What did you have to change, whatever, a year ago, 5 years ago, on this date? What decision did you make that got you to where you are in the future? I promise you, you have the answers within you. You have to kind of think outside the box and sit down with yourself and really do some introspection. What is it? You know the answers. And that's one of the things as a life coach, I don't tell you the answers. My job is to ask the right questions to pull that information out of you, because you know yourself best. You know what you need to do. You really do. The answers are deep inside. So just step 2, yesterday we talked about casting your vision. Today we're talking about choosing your focus. So I like to say, focus on one thing. Most of the women I work with, I am working with them to think smaller and to do less, because a lot of the women I work with are super productive, super capable. They're your go-to lady. They get stuff done. But you know what? There is a cost to that, and they are exhausted and burnt out, and they're not doing the things that they need to take good care of themselves. And so we start with narrowing it down and choosing one thing to focus on. And I know for some that might seem scary, because you might be thinking, I just want to change. I remember how I felt, when I reached that point where I thought, oh my gosh, I feel awful. I was at my highest weight and my worst health. And I just wanted the change to happen yesterday. And I just wanted to throw everything out and start over again. And most of the time that doesn't work. it's too drastic. It's too much of a shift. And we need to think smaller. And thinking smaller is hard because that means you have to be patient. And you have to, well, just being patient in itself is hard, right? Excuse me. Especially if you've gotten to that point where the pain of where you're at right now has driven you to want to change. It's hard to want to slow down, but that's what works. So when we talk about focusing on one thing, I incorporate the 10 principles of food freedom. These are adapted. They're very much the same, but I have adapted them for my purposes because my program is faith-based. So I have adapted them slightly, but it's from this book, Intuitive Eating. It's by Evelyn Tribble, who is MS, registered dietitian, certified eating disorder, registered dietitian, and Elise Resch, who also has lots of initials after her name. Intuitive Eating. This is not a light reading book, so I'm going to save you some time and talk to you about the 10 principles of food freedom. And so what I would challenge you to do is to listen for these, and maybe if you were to pick one that you could start working on, which one would that be? So I'm just going to read from it to make sure that I don't skip anything. So number 1 is rejecting diet mentality, which I've been talking about. Stop focusing on the next diet. Diets don't work. 95% of diets do not work. Why? Because they're focused on external behaviors. They're not focused on changing your mindset. They're not focused on making peace with food, and they are restrictive in some way. And when we restrict, we generally boomerang and go the other way. So we want to just reject that whole mentality of you're either on or off a diet. Like, we don't need to be on or off a diet. We want to be in tune with our body and eating according to what our body needs. That means we have to start trusting ourselves. And I know that can be hard because we just want someone to give us the rules so we could just do it. But it's not that easy if you want freedom. Number 2 is honor your hunger. This requires us paying attention to our hunger levels. And I have a free resource on my site where you can download the hunger scale. But it's really, because of diet mindset, we have stopped listening to our hunger cues. We kind of tell it to shush, it's not time to eat, don't want to eat right now. Or we get busy and we're not actually paying attention to the physical hunger cues that we're having. And so we get to a point where we are beyond hungry. So honoring your hunger, eating when you're hungry, eating when you're hungry, straight and simple. Making peace with food, giving yourself permission to eat. There is no food that we should not be able to eat, okay? There's not good or bad food. There's healthy and unhealthy, but you can eat what you want. It's a choice. So it's just like that same idea as a child. You tell us a young child, don't touch that, don't touch that. What are they going to do? They're going to go touch it. Same thing. I bet if you've ever been on a diet, as soon as you start thinking about all the foods you can't have. So we want to make peace with food. Food is good. It's either healthy or unhealthy, and we make choices about that, and we have full control over those choices. Challenging your inner critic. This is kind of the same thing. Food has no moral value. Food is not morally good or bad, and you are not morally good or bad for what you eat. So we reject that idea of saying, oh, I was so bad because I ate this thing the other day. I was so bad. Oh, I've been so bad lately. No, you weren't bad. It was a choice that you made. Maybe it wasn't a healthy one, but you're not bad, and the food in itself is not bad. It's just either working towards your nutritional goals or it's not. So challenging your inner critic. Number 5, discovering the satisfaction factor. Enjoying food, enjoying feeling satisfied by food. And, food is a gift. And nourishment, there's the people in this world, not everyone gets to eat like we do in America, right? So enjoying the satisfaction of food, being present in that moment. And that ties in with number 6, which is feeling your fullness. So paying attention to when you are full and satisfied. That means being present and slowing down. We tend to, happens a lot of times, right? We are paying attention to our hunger cues. We're telling ourselves, like, I can't eat until this time, or whatever it is. We're not letting ourselves eat, and we're not stopping and honoring our hunger at the time that we're just hungry. We don't stop before we get hangry or starving, right? And so then we eat without being present, and we eat past being full and satisfied. We start eating until we are overstuffed and uncomfortable. We see this happen on the holidays, right? We want to have some of everything, which is great. I mean, we're enjoying the satisfaction factor, right? But to what extent, to where we feel sick and uncomfortable? Like, that's not how we're supposed to be either. So paying attention to your hunger and fullness cues. And I think I talked about this in the 2 weeks ago, about how you can change a lot just by listening to your body. I've been keeping a journal where I say, like, before I eat, how would I rate my hunger scale? Am I slightly hungry? Am I neutral, not hungry at all? Am I slightly hungry? Am I just plain old hungry? Am I very hungry, or am I like hangry, right? What is that number? And then after I eat, do I feel slightly full? Do I feel full and satisfied? Do I feel overstuffed? Do I feel like food's going to come out my belly button? Paying attention to those things without judgment. It was interesting because I wanted to notice for me, like, how many times do I let myself get past the point of just normal hunger, and how many times do I eat past the point of fullness? It's good feedback for us. And then we can make a correction on that. Giving yourself grace. Like, when we start, this journey of intuitive eating and food freedom, there's going to be times where you feel stressed and you're going to eat something that is not the best choice. But at that moment, that is your best choice because you're struggling. Giving yourself grace. It does not help us to beat ourselves up over that and say, oh, dang it, I was stressed and I ate that garbage again. Like, when am I ever going to learn? Let me just eat some more, right? Basically, what you're doing is you're punishing yourself. So being aware of that is a key to food freedom. And without judgment, we give ourselves grace. And this is where, like, journaling is a huge help. It's part of what I teach in the Light Away program. Number 8, your body is a gift. We want to treat our body as the holy temple that it is. God gave us our body so that we can go where he calls us, so that we can give, so that we can grow, so that we can be of service. Until the day that we are taken from this earth, we have a purpose. Every one of us has a purpose. So nurture your body and take care of it. It is the vessel to walk out in your calling and your purpose in life. You need to love it. Loving your body doesn't mean that you have to be happy with it. You can love your body and not be happy with the shape that it's in right now. That's okay, right? But you still love it and you treat it with love. Oh my goodness. Anyone have adult children that you love with all of your heart, but they're not walking in the way you want them to? Are you gonna just, like, punish them and hit them and, like, be degrading to them? No, you still love them. You have compassion for them and you pray for them. Same thing for yourself. You got to have that compassion and grace on yourself. Number 9, movement is medicine. This is my hashtag. I also talked about this a couple weeks ago. Move. Just move more. Forget about you've got to sign up on some crazy, hard workout program, unless that's what you want. Just focus on moving more, getting up every hour and moving. Almost all of us have smartwatches. If you don't, you've got a timer you can set. Get up at 10 to the hour and move. Get your blood circulating. Take a walk. Stop comparing your exercise plan with someone else's and just focus on what makes you feel good. Because when you feel good, it improves your endorphins and everything else improves. If you're doing a workout program that you absolutely hate, that causes you to be in pain, you're totally defeating the purpose. Okay, so just remember, movement is medicine. The more active you stay, the healthier you're going to be. So focus on getting more movement in. And number 10 is just gentle nutrition. We are not going to eat perfectly all of the time. We're just not. So being gentle with our nutrition. We eat well most of the time, but we allow space for treats. There's going to be birthday parties. There's going to be vacations. Are you going to go camping and not make s'mores because it's not on your plan? Like, come on. We've got to have some grace in there. We've got to be gentle with our nutrition. But can we also bring some good foods that are going to help our digestion and make us feel good? Yeah, we can find that balance. So be gentle with our nutrition and get rid of the all or nothing thinking. So that was a lot that I went through. That was the 10 principles of freedom. And again, you can download this. I'll put the link in the comments. You can download this and learn more. So taking all of that into consideration, which was a lot, you can choose one thing that you can start working on today. What is one thing? And if you were to focus on that one thing, like just say, for example, you were going to start focusing on your hunger and fullness cues. If you were just going to pay attention to eating when you're hungry before you get into like the danger zone, and stopping when you're satisfied. Easy, right? What would your life look like 10 years from now if you were not letting yourself get to where you were starving and you were not eating beyond fullness? What would your life look like? How would you feel about your life? If you were to do that, who would you need to tell for support? What would you need, in order to do that? And what would be the cost if you didn't do that? What would be the cost? What would your life look like 10 years from now if you continue to binge and purge and binge and purge? What's your health going to look like if you continue on that path for the next 1 to 5 to 10 years? You can let all of this that I'm saying go in one ear and out the other. But if you are stuck, if you are tired of chronic dieting and being frustrated with food and feeling just like, you never know what is good for you or not, you just have guilt about everything you eat, start with one of these simple food principles and start working on that. Give yourself permission to start small. Think about what are the obstacles that you might come up against. Plan ahead. This is what we do. If we want to be successful, we actually take the time to plan ahead. What are my danger triggers? What kind of situations might I struggle? And what is the plan that I can put into place? What's my support plan? I have a client that was brilliant, right? She loves treats like me, and she came up with a plan when she goes to a party where there is desserts that she wants to try, that her husband will get the dessert and she'll take a bite. Or she could take a couple bites for whatever, right? But then they would share that dessert, and then that she would be good with it. So she's not denying herself. She's enjoying it. But she's put a plan in place for self-control. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. So there's a difference between that and punishing ourselves, right? Punishing ourselves is not a fruit of the Spirit. So there's more that I can share with you. You can also focus on the fruit of the Spirit. Focus on verses that help you to understand or help you to renew your mind about the importance of loving your body, the importance of our physical body, the importance of walking out in the fruits of the Spirit, of being gentle to ourselves and being able to be of service to God and His kingdom. It's our responsibility to take care of our body. It's our responsibility. So I get really passionate about this because it's so easy to just be tossed about in the diet culture and like, oh, so-and-so's doing this. I'm going to go do this and I'm just going to get these 10 pounds off and then I'll be happy. You might lose those 10 pounds, but it never satisfies. It's because it's an external thing. We have to focus on renewing our mind, being set free of these rules, and finding peace with food and our body. That's where the freedom lies, my friend. That's what we were designed for. So I hope this was helpful to you. This is my calling. This is my life's work. This is the foundation of Light Away. And I work with women either one-on-one or self-paced. My offer for my beta test of the Blaze program, which is a self-paced version of my one-on-one coaching program, it's all the same content, and you still get support from me. It's via a texting app instead of face-to-face, but it's all the same content. That beta test is closing out at the end of this week. I'm offering it at a ridiculously discounted price. So if you want to get in on it, message me. I'd be happy to hop on a call and answer all your questions and see if this is something for you. And I'll put a link to this. You can go ahead and check out the 3 steps to ditch dieting. Enjoy that. It's just a little taste of what I do in my program. And I hope you'll come back and join me tomorrow, where I'm going to talk about how to deal with lack of support at home, because let's face it, it's pretty hard when you're the only one in the house that's trying to eat healthy, and you have picky eaters and men and things like this. And I've been there, done that, so I'm going to share some of my best tips with you tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And until tomorrow, peace out.